Hello, sports fans. This is Coach Mad Money. And I tell you, I love these Commanders editions. We bring them to you every Monday. For those of you who are the big-time Commanders fans listening on this channel, this show is for you. As you can see, I do not have Large Sarge again tonight. He is working so he can save up money so he can eat when we go to the NFL draft and follow on to the Commanders draft party here at the end of the month. I can't believe it. We're like about 10 days away from the NFL draft. But I will tell you the thing that I want to talk about tonight is I'm exposing it. I'm just going to expose it. Why mock drafts absolutely suck. And if you like mock drafts, hey, good on you. It seems like everybody and their mother right now is doing a mock draft. I even did a mock draft 1.0, thinking that I might do a 2.0 and keep that doing. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to stick by my picks because I'm going to tell you right now, the more and more I look into mock drafts, the more I'm just absolutely determined that people don't know what the flip they're talking about out there. So I didn't become Mad Mike for no reason. I'm all mad about this, but we're going to have fun, and we are going to go over some things. And I will tell you, I know I have a whole lot of Redskins fans out there, and I'm right there with you. I think Montez Sweat, the former star defensive end that we were stupid enough to trade before the Week 8 deadline. And I tell you what, I look at Josh Harris, or the first move that he made actually last year, because he didn't make another one because he got rid of Chase Young too. But the first move that he made was to trade away Montez Sweat. I mean, are we for real now? I mean, I love Montez Sweat. I hated to see him go last year, but I love what he had to say. Let's take a look.
And every time I'm like, bro, why wouldn't we just be the Redskins? It's part of the culture. Like, why don't? What's the problem? So
yeah,
if it was up to me, we would have just been the Redskins and call it at that.
But anything but the Commanders, in my opinion.
I
thought the football team was kind of cool.
I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed that when people asked me who I played for, I was watching.
I have to agree with you, Montez. I will tell you, I think we need to change the name back to the Washington Redskins. If you agree, put those in the comments. Put HTTR. I need some comments on some of these posts. Just put it out there. If you're a diehard Redskin, you're listening, put it out there. Now, we're going to expose some draft stuff. And we've got a lot of things that I want to kind of go over on this because I think that you guys might be actually shocked to see the analysis that I'm going to tell you guys today about mock draft. So let's get right into it here. But before I do that, I want you to let you know that Adam Scheffler has reported a significant hire that the Washington Commanders had named the former longtime NFL executive Dave Gardy as the team's senior vice president of football initiatives. Now, when I saw this, like it was the only news that was on the Redskins homepage, I'm like, so what? I'm like, I don't even think I was going to add that to my show at first until I listened to the article. But this was a senior vice president that actually worked at the league office that was in charge of rules and making sure that competition was going pretty well. And he wanted to be able to come in and be used by the Commanders to fix a lot of the internal things that we got poor grades on by a sensing session of the players, about saying that we have an F- grade about player conditions and facilities. And Josh Harris said he wanted to do something about it. So maybe this will make the players happier. Maybe it will make the training facilities better for them so they can get this team to the next level. We will see. So I had to throw that in there. Now, here's what I'm going to go over when it comes to mock drafts, because, yes, I'm on a rampage about mock drafts today because they impact us and they're going to impact our team because we have a lot of stock this year in the draft. I'm going to say why they suck and why we obsess over these mock drafts. And all the analysts out there that are conducting these mock drafts, are they even any good? Are they even successful at conducting mock drafts? And should a mock draft ever last past the first round? Now, obviously, if I'm asking these questions, you're probably asking yourself, well, oh, he's about ready to tear it up. And if you're thinking like that, you're right, I am. Because I did some homework on these things, guys. I will tell you right now, we obsess over drafts, over mock drafts so much. I know I look at them. I was looking at a whole bunch of them. And then you know what I did? I started looking at history. And you know what? History. You learn a lot from history. And I think today in America, we need to do a lot more at looking at our real history. because it will change your perspective of what we think is so darn important. And I will tell you, when it comes to National Football League, I'm exposing it right now. Mock drafts are not important at all. They suck. And all these analysts who go through all this deep detail about what they think about something is going to happen in a draft, they are almost always wrong. Almost always wrong. And so I'm going to expose them because they are completely exposed here today. So let me look at one. Here's from the Commanders Wire. This is what they're saying is a 7-round mock draft. Now, I'm going to tell all of your listeners right now, anytime you hear anything past a 1-round mock draft, you might as well just tear it up and throw it in a trash can because it means absolutely nothing. All the data that I looked, I was data mining like a mother. And all the data mining I did shows that in every situation, they're wrong. That's right, they're wrong. So what I have here on the left is you have the team needs, right? Commanders need after all their free agency moves. And I think if you look at these and you're a Commanders fan and you're watching this episode here, you probably agree with these. These are our team needs, pretty much in order. Now you can say that, 6 and 7, you probably want to throw in another guard, maybe another linebacker. And then some people might say, well, we could probably use a safety too. Okay. All right. But I think you could probably look at this and go, yeah, those are pretty much our team needs. And if you look at this, right, and you look at what this particular mock draft was done by the Commanders Wire, you might, okay, so a lot of these needs are met, right? And so if a draft happened like this, I think my objection about this one is we're going for 2 corners, one in the 3rd and one in the 7th. Yeah, okay. And if this draft happened, I guess I'm okay with it. But is it historically accurate when these drafts are done? Let's look at another one. This one's by Shane, and Shane is a guy I usually read on pretty much. He's from Draft Countdown. I usually like a lot of his stuff. And I started looking at this. And again, our team needs are on the left and his are on the right. What do you think about that? He's got also us taking 2 corners, but he does go for a linebacker. And Tommy Eichenberg is one of those guys that that linebacker seems to be connected to the Commanders a lot, which means we probably will not draft him. I'll be very shocked if we do, because when I historically look at the analytics on players that like really get focused on by the Commanders is usually when this organization, they usually don't go for that guy. There's usually somebody else they're tracking. It's a complete smokescreen. So I wouldn't be surprised. Another thing I have on here, 2 safeties, two corners. We're not going to get that many defensive backs in the draft. Like, really? Like, sometimes you look at some of these drafts, you automatically know, like, they don't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, we address our tackle need, our edge, our quarterbacks, our top 3 needs come off the board. And then you're like, okay, wide receiver and corner. You're like, okay, yeah, we do a pretty good job of that. And we also go for a linebacker. But do we really think like this is accurate? So let's take a break here real quick. I will tell you, I stumbled across this picture and then we'll get back to mock drafts. But I stumbled across this because I've been following Austin Eckler a lot lately. And I stumbled across this picture and it looks so good to see him out there working out in Commander's attire. It just really does. And, he looks like he's in shape. He's quoted, "The harder you work, the luckier you get." Probably not the best quote, but all right. He's out there working it. He's out there making it happen. Just love to see it. All right. So what are we talking about? The pick is in. The Commander's pick is in. Yeah, it's in. All right. Yeah. So I look back at 2023 at all these picks that were supposedly in from these mock drafts and everybody thinking that they knew what the pick was going to be. And I looked at DraftWire. Guess what? They did not get one Commanders pick correct. Not one. In a 7-round draft. Not even the first round one. Not one right. I went to Commanders Wire last year. They didn't get not one pick right. I went to Bleacher Nation. Not one pick right. I went to DRN DraftKings Network. Not one pick right. I went to Pro Football Network. Guess what? Not one pick right. And then I went to Rigo's Tag. I love Rigo's Tag. I don't even know if it's really run by Rigo or not, but they had one pick right. Just one pick right. It was Ricky Stromberg in the 3rd round a week out from the draft. And then they updated their mock draft right before the draft, and they changed their answer and they got it wrong. I wanted to give him credit to say he got one right. But just like the elementary teacher tells you in school, stick with your first answer. He changed his answer on the test and got it wrong. So guess what? He didn't get any of them right either. These are all the experts in the field. All the experts in the field. And none of these guys got not one Commander's pick right. Not one. So this year, I'm looking at Mel Kiper Jr. because Mel Kiper is one that's pretty widely respected. And we see what he's going for this year. I agree with his number 2 pick. I believe that the pick's going to be Jayden Daniels, but what do I know? I'm out there reading stuff just like you guys are, right? I like Arizona tackle Jordan Morgan. The more I research him, I think that would be a great pick. But what do I know? At number 40, they're talking about Rutgers cornerback Max Melton. I don't know nothing on that guy. But I go and I look back on, well, what did Mel Kiper do last year? Guess what? The big old X. He didn't get none of them right. Out of all of these experts that we look to as Commanders / Redskins fans, mock drafts from these experts on what the analysts have to say, and they're looking at film, they're talking to coaches, they're talking to general managers, they're trying to put pieces together, they're trying to get a feel and all their insider knowledge. Not one of these guys, not one, got a single pick correct last year for the Washington Commanders. Are you kidding me? This exposed. So I started looking at, okay, who are the top rated analysts out there by network, and how many draft picks did they get correct in the first round of the mock draft? I'm just talking the first round. I'm not talking about a whole 7-round draft. You pick your top 32. You drew your mock draft for the first round and the first round only. My mock draft 1.0 is for the first round and the first round only. So to be fair, I want to compare how I do with all of these dudes. And I looked at what is it that they are going to go, what is it that historically that they've done, and how have they graded out? You see, Vinny Lyer's mock draft, the Sporting News, last year, out of 32 picks, he only got 4 of them right. Only 4. Mel Kiper, the subject matter expert on everything from ESPN, especially when it comes to mock drafts. They have him up there during the mock draft. He gives his analysts after every pick is called. He's up there with Ian Rappaport and the rest of them. He only had 1 pick right in last year's mock draft for the first round out of 32 picks. He only had 1 of them right. Daniel Jeremiah had the best performance last year. 6 out of 32 correct. Then you see Todd McShay, you got 4. You see Dane Brugler from The Athletic, got 4. Then you see NBC Sports, Peter King's mock draft. He only got 2 right. I'm telling you, I got to expose these people for what they are. It's garbage. It's all garbage. And I don't know why we get so caught up every year in mock drafts. I tell you what, for all those people out there have a mock draft that's just not going with the trend, you might be more right than the actual pros who get paid to do analytical work. Like, these guys get paid a lot of money to go out there and scout players, talk to coaches, go through their analysis, and determine who they think each team is taking. All their insider information. And these are the results that they have for 2023, like for real. And we are like all caught up in mock draft. I'm telling you, I'm sick of mock drafts. I know we're 10 days out the draft. I'm serious. When I say I did a mock draft 1.0, I could be all wrong with it. Here's what I'm not going to do. You're not going to see a mock draft 2.0 out of me. I'm going to go straight to the NFL draft with Lard Sarge. We're going to go there. We're going to have a great time. We're going to increase our subscriber base and do some filming, give you guys a little bit behind the scenes look. But I don't give a flip about mock drafts because my stats are probably no better than these guys are. And if you do a mock draft, yours probably won't either, because you know why? You're probably looking at all these characters' mock drafts to help you make decisions on yours. And so you're going to be just as wrong as they are. And I'm going to be right there with you. So let's take a break again, because there's a young man who came up that was also the news for the Washington Commanders on their page, was talking about Zontez Stiggers. Zontez Stiggers is another interesting story. A guy worth watching. Will the Commanders actually draft him? Probably not. But it was an interesting story, as you can read, that's on there, because he was the CFL's Rookie of the Year last year and actually qualified to enter the draft this year because he left college early for family reasons, entered the pre-draft process, and actually went through a workout, a pro day, and 29 teams were present for it, which include 3 NFL DB coaches. And he ran a 4.47 40 at 203 pounds. So he caught a lot of eyes, has some good coverage. I'll show you a little bit of film. Not a lot to look at, but it's what they had that's out there. You see him in coverage here on one of his workouts. He's got some pretty good coverage. He's covering him. The receiver doesn't make the catch. I got to take a break. We got to go back to it for the Redskins fans. I'm sorry.
Every time I'm like, bro, why wouldn't we just be the Redskins? It's part of the culture. Like, why don't? What's the problem? So
what's
if it was
the
up
problem?
to me, we would have just been the Redskins and call it at that.
But
Just call it,
anything
man. Bring
but
it back.
the Commanders, in my
Oh
opinion.
my
I thought
God,
the
when I
football
heard
team
that,
was
bro,
kind of cool.
I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed that when people asked me who I played for, I was watching.
Victory, praise on the warpath, fight for all DC. Yeah, I know I suck at singing, but whatever. Suck about as bad as these mock drafts. Anyway, Zontez Stiggers, could he potentially be in there? I'm telling you what, if you go to the CFL and you become Rookie of the Year and you're able to enter the draft, I think that's a plus up of just coming straight out of college because you did something. You were going up against other guys that had been to NFL training camps. Some of them had been on teams before. That's saying something. So if he qualifies, is there a good chance that he gets drafted? Yes. Is there a good chance he comes to Commanders? Not so high. 29 teams were at his workout. You might as well say everybody was there. So don't think that he's necessarily going to come to us. And whatever they need to do, they better get their analysis right, because you don't want to reach for a guy like this, right? You just don't. I mean, I don't know how it grades out. So, but I don't tell you what we will do is we will watch. I'm kind of interested to see where he ends up. Maybe he's another long shot kind of guy like the international player Reese that we were tracking with Kansas City. That's kind of our on our regular shows watch list as a long shot. Okay. But for us as the Commanders / Redskins, that's what I've got for you tonight. I will tell you what, I poo-pooed real hard on my drafts, and I have every reason to, because I just exposed them all for what they are. They are no better, I think, than any of the rest of us if we were to pull out and run a mock draft. As a matter of fact, if I just pulled up a mock draft simulator and just let it run, they'll probably be just as accurate as these professional analysts who get paid buku money to figure it out. But that's all I got for you tonight. Hail to the Redskins. I love you guys. And pay attention, because we will be at the draft. Peace out, guys.